All right, guys. I released the RPG Maker MV Universal Wind Engine, and I decided, you know what? Why not make it available for MZ users as well? So here we go. We have a MZ game, and it's the typical, map that's very static. And of course, we want to bring life to it. So why not use the Universal Wind Engine? So if we turn on the engine and set it to power level 1, it gives a slight animation that actually does a lot to bring your game to life. It actually animates events and static tiles, like the grass here, um, the bush, the plant, the trees, anything that you tag um, will be animated. And of course, you can control the power of the wind if you want the wind to be more powerful. Like this is, level 5 instead of level 1. You get a lot more animation. This is for a windy day. And of course, if you want a very powerful wind, you can use this. Um, this couples very well with like weather systems. You can make this like during the rain, like a heavy storm. And of course, the everything will be animated to move more. And of course, when the storm is over, you can then change the wind power back to 1, and everything will slowly move back to 1. Everything is animated independently. It does tiles, which is, I think, very unique, but also events. Big trees like these would have to be events, but everything that's one tile wide, like these skinny trees, can also, it can just be tiled instead of events. But you can use events if you like. And of course, this gives you the ability to actually not only control, I'm gonna move it to 5. You got the floating objects in the water, you got the flags. This not only handles like trees and grass, it handles floating objects in the water, including the lily pads. The lily pads are tiles, and it also includes things that hang, like you could put up, I don't know, hanging plants, or in this case, I'm using flags. So this is the demo that comes with the Universal Wind Engine for MZ. I'm actually going to show you now how to actually use it. But real quick, you can actually turn the tiles on and off independently. You can see which, I mean, for the demo, I kind of put both. These are tiled trees. That's why they're not moving. And these are evented trees. So you can tell the engine that you want to turn the tiles on or off. Because you can put tiles on, but some people on some platforms like mobile devices or like maybe low-end laptops might not be able to handle it, even though it's coded pretty well. It's pretty lightweight, but you have the options and the power to turn off tiles if you want to, so make it a little bit easier for them. But here we go. I'm going to show you how it works. It's actually pretty straightforward. Um, all you have to do is go into your database, go to tile sets. Well, actually, let me just show you the plugin first. That's the only thing active right now is the Universal Wind Engine for MZ. You have these tags. 1, 2, and 3 are meant for trees or objects that are large. You put it in order of 1, 2, 3. By default, I think the largest is 2 for the skinny trees. So you use 1 and 2. Anything that's a uniform field like grass or like maybe some certain types of plants, you would want the uniform. That's more, the anchor is more in the middle of the tile as opposed to, the tree versions, which have the anchor at the bottom. So they sway from the bottom up. This is 4 sways from the middle. And last but not least, you have floating objects that you set to 5. That would be like lily pads or anything like that. Um, Everything else, hanging and floating objects like the boat, I would use events for. And here you get to set the control variable. I set it to 1. I set it as wind power. And of course, with your graphics, it might be a bit different, and you want to be able to have a little bit more hands-on and a little bit, and you want the ability to kind of tweak it yourself. These are other things you can play with here. Sway speed, sway amount, wind speed, and variance, and the pivot offset for swaying tiles. And of course, you can use plugin commands and script commands to actually command let me see, override and change up some of these settings or turn it off and on yourself. So once you just enable this, all you have to do is go to the database, go to your tile set. We're outside. We're going to go to the B tile set in here in terrain log. Terrain tag. They're all set to 0. But of course, with my universal wind engine, now instead of zeros, I can set it to 1 and 2s for trees. This is a wide tree, so I wouldn't use tiles set the sway system on wide trees. But the single trees you can right here. In this, I kind of have the demo here to use the regions instead. I definitely recommend the tags over the regions, but the regions still give you an option just in case. As you can, so once you set everything up, the lily pads are 5. And you can see the regions I use on here, because without the regions, it wouldn't move. But of course, I'm saying this is number 1, and this is number 2. Now it'll move. But for now, let's turn it off for demonstration purposes, and let's put a tree next to it so we know that it's a drawn tree and it's not an event. Let's see what happens when we hit play. So as you can see, the tree that's set up at, with tags in the database sways automatically. And of course, this is not the palm tree is not set up with the tags, but because we're gonna use for demonstration purposes the 1 and the 2, and see if that works. And it works. See, that's pretty cool. Let me see what else. So as you can see, it works. So the only other thing you have to do to actually use it, it's pretty straightforward, is that you have to actually put the word sway into your map. The word sway is here to activate the sway engine, the universal wind engine. And of course, if you want to use events like trees, you just put the word sway in the tree. And then for the bigger trees, same thing. You just change the graphic and put sway in the tree, and it works. And for the boats, you just put the word float, so it actually looks like it's floating. And then for the flags, you just put hang in the notes. That way it hangs. And that's basically it. I mean, even if you're in heavy development in your game and you have hundreds of maps, and you want to actually animate everything at the same time, this works perfectly for you. Because all you have to do is set up the information and the tile set. And so basically for outside tile beam, if I change the terrain tag to, the grass to 4, all grass on every map that uses this tile set will now be animated. So it can actually animate your entire game using terrain tags immediately. And of course, like I said, you do have the power to create events and use events if you really want to use events instead. So I have both events and tiles being animated at once. Every single one of these dead trees are actually tiled. And I have this demonstration right here. It does correct depth control. As you can see, the plants are behind the top of the tile, of the top of the tree. So both are tiles. Yet when you play, they both animate independently. And again, you can fine tune all these details, including even more that I've mentioned. But if you want to change the power to a storm, and then your weather changes to like nice and calm, it has a light breeze, and here you go. So this is I guess you can call the entry level of using this plugin. I can actually make more videos if you want me to show you how to incorporate this into your weather system or your lighting system. But for now, I think this brings a lot of extra character, a lot of life to your game. because it just looks nice having everything animated and move. If not, then everything is static and it looks exactly like this, which is like every other game. And you work really hard in your game. You want to be able to bring it to life and make it look as nice as possible. And having everything static like this, I don't know, where's the character? So with it on, even just a little sway makes a big difference, as you can see. Anyways, if you want to know more, just leave a comment, or you have any questions, ask any questions. Thank you so much for your time.